Hello, welcome to episode 2.
Here's our blanket, excellent.
An asymmetrical twin.
Dropping and sinking up. Notice how
So just notice. Joining us for the second episode of next week. Namaste.
Today we're going to do a class on edge. Edge is this thing that can be kind of elusive, and so I thought it would be a great idea to do a whole class on the concept. So if you think about it, edge is this place between too much and too little. So if I bend my finger back like this, it's okay for like a minute or a few seconds maybe, but to do it for any length of time, it probably could be a little injurious. But if I back off just a bit, then I still feel the intensity of sensation, but it's not too much. It's something that I could stay with and explore and find out a little bit more. So that's the idea of what edge is. And then sort of on a deeper level of self-awareness, I think I'm going to use some of my friend's definitions of edge. My friend Beth says, edge is the place where I get the most reliable information about myself. And my friend Renee says, it's a place I can hear my truth and actually listen versus trying to tell myself the truth. So I think we'll start our practice seated today. If you want to just close your eyes. And tune into your breathing. So take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out through your mouth. And then just settle into your breath right now. Noticing maybe the places where you feel your breath a lot. The places where you don't feel very much breath movement. And then the places where the breath movement feels just right. And see how you can be with your experience of breath from moment to moment here. And as you breathe this morning, check in on what your breath is telling you about yourself today. How does it inform you? And take a deep breath in through your nose. Let it fall out through your mouth. And tune into your body. So probably immediately your attention will go to those places in your body that feel really edgy. The places that are calling your attention or maybe seem uncomfortable. What would it be like to be a little softer with them? To see what those places that are maybe a little uncomfortable or are trying to tell you or inform you right now. Maybe even to shift your way of focusing on them and to become curious about those parts and interested in what they have to say, what they can teach you about yourself. And then take another deep breath. Sigh out through your mouth. And tune into your thoughts. What's on your mind this morning? What are you thinking about? What are you pushing out of your thoughts? So in the spirit of playing with edge, how could you sit a little bit more with what's happening and what's on your mind right now? Might be a little uncomfortable, but it's probably going to take more energy in the long run to dismiss those things altogether. See how you can expand into those areas of thinking. Bringing your focused awareness to your mind. And take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. Now tune into your emotions. I think emotions are ripe for working with edge. Sometimes we have emotions that we're pretty uncomfortable with. We don't want to be having them. Maybe we feel sad or angry. Or there are emotions that we'd rather be having. Maybe we'd rather be happy. But tune into what's really present right now in your emotional landscape. How are you truly feeling? And how can those feelings be a barometer for you to tell you more about yourself? Maybe they tell you the truth about yourself in some way. And then take one more deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. And begin to tune into the place in you that's bigger than all of that, that knows all about you, that knows without knowing. And what information is here for you this morning? And then take another deep breath in through your nose, sigh it out through your mouth. And bring all of that together, all of those parts that make up you. Your breath, your body, your emotional body, your thought body, your spirit body. And take a moment to set an intention for how you would like your practice to be today. What would you like to receive in your practice? How can your practice best serve you? And how would you like to explore and be with edge this morning? And then take another deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out through your mouth. And again, tune into your body and see if there's any little movements that might want to happen in your body. Paying attention to your head and your neck and your shoulders. And allow movement to spontaneously begin to come from the inside out. Paying attention to how your body wants to move right now in this moment. And let those movements happen naturally and organically. Let that movement grow in your body so that you're including your back and your chest and your spine. Moving any way you wish, any way that serves you right now in this moment. And it doesn't even have to be something that looks like a yoga pose. It can just be a response to something that wants to happen in your body in this moment. And then let that movement continue down into your hips and your legs and your feet. Allowing movement to expand until it takes up your whole body. And if you haven't already, start to make your way onto hands and knees, continuing movement there. Coming into a table position, hands under the shoulders, knees under your hips. Maybe just swaying your hips from side to side And then letting some movement come into the spine, maybe some rounding and extending. Breathing out as you round up through your back, and breathing in as you lift your head and tail up toward the ceiling or the sky for us. And then walk your hands to one side, stretching the spine on a side angle. And then find your way over to the other side. So you're opening up the side of the spine. Coming back center and taking your left arm up to the side. Bring your left arm underneath your right. Rest your left shoulder inside of the head on the ground. Letting your spine come into a rotation here. Slowly coming out of that side, and let's do that on the other side too. Right arm comes up, reaches between the left hand and knee. Rest your right shoulder on the ground. And then come back center and walk your hands slightly forward of your shoulders and walk your knees just a little bit back. Now tuck your toes under at the back and lift your hips up so that you're making an upside down V. And stretch out the backs of your legs here. And then make your way up to a standing position, either walking your feet in or your hands back or a combination of the two, and come to a standing position. So this is the first time we're going to explore a physical edge in your body, and because this is a yoga class, we're going to explore physical edges a lot, but it doesn't mean that edge is just physical. It could be that you come up against an emotional edge or a thought edge or something else that might seem a little uncomfortable but have a lot of information present in it. And so you get to decide how deeply you want to go into them. And of course you don't want to go to that place that's going to be self-destructive enough so that you're fully experiencing something, but not be so far back that it's kind of like boredom or atrophy. So just starting in a standing position, we're going to move slowly. And I want you to just slowly move your right ear to your right shoulder until you come to a place that's not too much, not too little, but just right. So it seems like every week when we record Namaste Yoga, we're dealing with our own edges. And this was a video shoot we actually had to postpone on Friday because we got rained out. And now we're staying with the edge of it, starting to rain, checking out if that's okay, if it's going to be comfortable enough, if we're going to destroy our camera equipment by staying here. So this is an opportunity for us to play with edge in our lives. And so edge in our yoga, same translates to edge in our lives. So I just thought I'd share with you, we're experiencing our very own life edge experience right now. Okay, let's bring our head back center. And then drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. And again, being really curious about the place that you choose and seeing how it informs you and what self-knowledge you can gain by choosing to be in this place. And then come back center. The other thing is that fall has definitely arrived here we're close to Toronto in Ontario, Canada, and this is really common fall weather, windy, cool, rain. All right, bring your left arm straight up overhead. And I want you to lengthen down through your left leg so that you're reaching your left foot into the ground. Reach up through your left side so that you're lengthening your spine and all along the side of the body. And then side bend toward the right, reaching your right hand as though you're reaching into the deep pocket. And just notice here how to allow more would be just too much. Maybe you're already at that too much place, so maybe you need to adjust and come back. Be curious about how you're choosing your edges, because it's probably how you choose them in your life too. And then come on, back center, lower that left arm down, take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. Now take your right arm straight up in the air. Lengthen down through your right leg. Feel your right foot on the ground. Reach your right arm straight up so that the right side of your spine is really lengthening. Now breathe in and breathe out. Bend toward the left side, reaching your left hand down. Just be curious about if you maybe chose a place that's a little too little here. So I noticed that my tendencies in choosing my yoga postures and, in life is that I can choose to go too far and then I've overextended myself and I have to back off a bit, just like in a yoga pose. And even on the yoga mat, sometimes because I've been going too hard in life, I don't go far enough because I'm in recovery mode on the yoga mat. So we're looking for that place that's not too little, not too much. The place somewhere in the middle where there's deep, rich information. And inhale and reach up and lower your arm down. Okay, so for the next one, you're going to take your hands and place them on the back of your pelvis. And you could do this with soft fists. I like to take my thumbs at the base of my spine, whatever works best for you. Roll your shoulders back and down and open your chest. Draw your shoulder blades together here. I want you to reach your feet down into the ground, lengthen up through the spine, and then lift your heart up toward the ceiling or the sky for us. And again, you're going to choose a place that's not comfortable, but also not unbearably uncomfortable. And then come back center, drop your chin to your chest, hinge from your hips, and fold forward in counter pose. In this pose, you can always bend your knees here too. Even rest your elbows on your legs. Okay, and then come back up to a standing position. Now inhale and take your arms straight out in front of you. You're going to sit back as though you're sitting into an imaginary chair. And I want you to allow yourself to not hold back on your potential strength here. So choose this place where you are engaging with that potential strength in your body. And then come up to a standing position. Relax your arms down. And take a deep breath. What's happening now? Notice how you're engaging with your practice and how it's informing you today. Now let's inhale. Take your arms straight up overhead. We're going to sit back again. And this time I want you to be conscious of not going to too far extremes in this pose. Not pushing your body to extremes. All right, and then reach up and lower your arms down. Great. Okay, let's stand at the front of our mat. And we'll take a big step back with our left foot. Yeah. Okay, and square off your hips to the front of the mat, and then do whatever you need to with your back foot so that your toes and your knees are pointing in the same direction. So from here, you're going to sink down through that front right hip so that your front knee bends, and you're going to be conscious about the place that you choose to stop. Let it be a place that can inform you about yourself, a place of self-awareness. And then bring your arms straight up. Releasing your arms down and stepping your back leg forward. And now we're going to do this on the other side. Take a big step back with your right foot. Hips face front, back toes and knee are facing in the same direction. And bending through that front leg to find that just right spot to stop and hang out for a while. Reaching your arms up. And just become curious in this pose about how the self-knowledge you gain from the poses can aid in your own transformation, your own personal transformational process. All right, and then release the pose from your body. Okay, I'm using my notes a little bit more today because I haven't been teaching this week. So this happens to be my first time through this class. So that's maybe a little edgy for me to use notes a little bit more than I normally would on tape. Okay, let's stand at the front of our mats again. And take a big step back with your left foot. This time I want your hips to face the long edge of your mat. Again, back toes and knees point in the same direction. You're going to bend your front right knee. Bring your arms up to parallel to the ground, gazing over top of your right fingertips. And just notice how you could possibly adjust this pose a little bit to receive the pose rather than to be the doer of the pose. And when you shift that, it can be like that difference between telling yourself something about yourself or receiving some information about yourself. And slowly lower your arms, straighten your legs. Turn your toes so they both face the front end of your mat. Now turn your left toe so it faces the short end of your mat. And bend your front left knee. Bringing your arms up to parallel to the ground, gazing over top of your left fingertips. Just be curious about how this side is different, and how each pose you come into, you have to explore and feel around to come to that just right place where you can learn a little bit more. Bring both toes so they face front, lower your arms. Hinge forward from your hips, lifting your sit bones up toward the sky. And fold forward here. Find your way down onto your mats, lying on your belly. Okay, so lying on your belly, I'm actually just into these next two. Okay, rest your forehead on the ground and find a comfortable position for your hands. They could be beside you, behind you. Yeah, that's totally fine. And I want you to press the front of your pelvis into the ground. Great, so that helps to lengthen out your low back here. Now, lengthen super long through your right leg until it reaches off the ground so that you find a real depth of sensation. It's not something that you want to pass, but that you can soften into. Okay, and slowly lower that right leg. Good, and maybe just wiggle your hips a little bit from side to side. Okay, now lengthen long through your left leg until it reaches off the ground. Find a great place to stop and focus in on that place. See if you can deepen your experience of the posture and then soften into it. And as you stay in this place, just notice what self-understanding is being received here. And if no self-understanding is being received, just know that that's okay too. Maybe this pose isn't imparting a lot of information to you. Okay, and then slowly lower that left leg down. Bring your hands right up underneath your shoulders. Okay, so again, tuck your tail under and press the front of your hips into the ground. Roll your shoulders back and up and slide your blades down your back. Okay, in a moment I'm going to ask you to lift your head and your chest off the ground. But see what it would be like to receive your edge in this posture rather than you be the one going to find it. So lift up to that place, and it might be big and it might be little today, where you can receive your edge. And then slowly lower yourself down and put yourself up onto all fours, lowering your buttocks over your heels, folding forward over your legs, stretching out your low back here. And adjusting your knees is necessary too. So for women it can often be very helpful to open your knees slightly and fold forward from there. Okay, and then come back down onto your bellies. And we're going to do that last posture again, placing your hands underneath your shoulders, rolling your shoulders back and up, pressing the front of your pelvis into the ground. And this time when you come up, I want you to see if you can deepen your experience without overdoing it in your body. So lifting your head and your chest, and coming up to that just right place where your experience, and it may not be the experience of physical sensation, it may be the experience of something else, is deepened in some way. And maybe even to deepen your experience, it means doing the physical posture a little bit less. And this place called edge is going to be continually shifting and moving in your experience. And so you will be continually shifting and moving to fully experience it, moving around to deepen your experience within the posture without over pushing your body. And then lower your body down, put yourself up onto shoulders. Bring your knees forward, fold your torso over your body. Now slowly come upright and lie on your backs. Let yourself settle in a little bit here. And then bring your arms out into a soft T, so your arms are about shoulder height, maybe a little bit lower. And then bend your left knee and place your left foot flat on the ground. You're going to press into your left foot, lift your pelvis up off the ground and tuck your hip under. And then you'll drop your left knee towards your right side and look over your left shoulder. And here you really want to make sure that your pelvis is perpendicular to the ground. So play around to the place that you're going to stop and explore. And like fully explore what's happening now in the moment. And what's happening now might be something that's going on in your body. It might be some thoughts that are going through your mind. It might be your emotions. It might be some spiritual connection. It might be something that you notice about your breathing. So, but let the choice of where you are in your body and then find posture. Press into your left foot and untuck your hips. Lower your left leg down to the ground. And just take a moment in that place in between. Allow your body to receive the posture and the experience. Now slide your left knee in. Place your right foot on the ground. Sorry, right leg. Other leg. Oh, why is it with twist? Do you get that when you teach? You do. It's really hard to call sides right when you're teaching twist. Yeah. There's something about crossing the midline that's really hard for the brain to figure out. Okay, so our right knee is bent and our right foot is on the ground. Press your right foot into the ground so your hips pop off a little bit, and then tuck your left hip under. Start to lower your right knee toward the ground. Looking over your right shoulder. And then roll back onto your back. Lift and untuck your hip. Lie flat on your back. Now bring your hands along the side of your body. Place both feet flat on the ground. Press into your feet and lift your pelvis off the ground. You want to try and come up to that place that's not too much, not too little, but just right. And if it feels right today, you can begin to walk your shoulders underneath. Interlace your fingers and lift your chest a little more. Great. So we want to find those places in our postures that we're going that's beyond this kind of boredom or atrophy. But if you were to go too far, it would be self-destructive in some way. So and I think this is something that we could always work with from the time we are beginners, and it's something we continue to work with as we become more experienced practitioners too, of keeping our practice alive. of not letting it become something that's routine and boring, but of really focusing inward and being aware of what the experience is from moment to moment. Okay, so if your fingers are intertwined, you can release your hands and untuck your shoulders and then lower your pelvis back onto your ground. Okay, from here, cross your right heel ankle over your left knee, so you're opening your right knee out to the side. And then bring your left knee in towards your torso. Reach through, you can hold on either on the back on your hamstring, or you could reach even further and hold on your shin. This hamstring position is really great if you have any knee issues. And the whole thing is you want to choose a place that's going to serve you. It's going to serve your exploratory process. So choose a place that serves you. And notice about how your edge serves you right now. And then slowly lower your down, uncross your right knee, and switch legs, so you're going to cross over your right thigh, opening your left knee out to the side, and draw your right leg in. And again, each side is going to be different, so always a new way of coming into the posture and noticing what's going to serve you best in your body right now today. Knowing that it was different yesterday, it'll be different tomorrow, and it's different from side to side. And then release that leg down and just check in and see if any other movement wants to happen in your body before we rest for Shavasana. So just respond to the needs of your own body right now. Give them any last stretches or movement or wiggling around that they might be asking for. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just a matter of responding to what your body wants in this moment. And then over the next couple of breaths or moments, find your way into lying on your back. Palms up, legs relaxed, back of the neck long. So take a deep breath. Bringing your awareness back to your body on the ground here. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Starting to become more aware of your surroundings. And then bend your knees and roll to your side. And take a breath there. And find your way up to position so you can finish with the meditation. Sit in a way that's going to be comfortable enough for you to be able to be fully in your experience, to be able to be really present to what's happening now. And I'm going to begin our seated time with a little reading by St. Francis of Assisi. It's called Wild Forces. And, you know, just let this land wherever it does. If it resonates, then great. And if not, just file it away for a future date. And I chose this reading because I think it speaks to a lot of what Edge is about. There are beautiful wild forces within us. Let them turn the mills inside and fill sacks that feed even heaven. And take a deep breath in through your nose, and sigh out through your mouth, and continue sitting with your eyes closed with that inward focus. Reflect back on your practice today, and notice what stands out for you. What feels like it had the most weight, most informed you about your experience today. And then because there is a connection because of the way we do yoga on our mat and how we do our lives, what is the connection? How does the thing that stood out for you about your yoga practice today show up in your life? And then what will you do with that awareness? How will you carry it with you into your week this week? And take another deep breath in through your nose and sigh out through your mouth. And gradually allow your eyes to open again to meet the space of this room. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. I want to thank Ninka for joining us from yogabliss.me, and I want to thank all of you for being with us each and every week. We so appreciate you being with us. Also, thanks so much to Dave from Pima Clothing. You didn't get to see much of it today, but he does give us our t-shirts, and we'll have to get him to get us more long sleeve shirts for the winter and fall. Yeah, I have special jackets, but thanks so much for joining us this week. Namaste.